Hey guys, it's me again here, Captain Anderton, with another little insight into some of the things that I'm playing in the blues that hopefully you guys can pick up pretty easily and might help you with your kind of playing. As I've said in loads of videos before, I'm not a guitar teacher, I've never been taught properly. I'm just doing this because quite a few of you have seen me in other YouTube videos and you've said, you know, can you show us a few of those? So I thought what we'd try and do today is look at things that I think are referred to as passing notes, but these are essentially notes that are thrown into a blues scale that aren't strictly speaking part of the blues scale and kind of in isolation or played at the wrong time in a blues scale sound weird and horrible, but played at the right time can add some sort of interesting overtones to it. So if just for fun, I'm going to do this one in G, so the root note. So, G, however you want to play it, minor pentatonic, and as you notice, I'll often play the last little part of a minor pentatonic in the fifth position, so I might start. And I'll probably play the last part in the first position, so my. So I'm kind of playing the middle bit in the first position, but you can stick to playing the whole thing in the first position if you want. So, passing notes. Passing notes are notes that you might throw in like this one, for example. So you'll notice that these three notes, they're all part of the standard pentatonic scale, but this one isn't. So if I play it at the wrong point, so kind of, or in isolation, it sounds kind of wrong. But if I play it as a passing note, it sounds kind of cool. And yet you can do the same thing where I've tried to do it over the C there, the second sort of chord, if you like, in that sort of 12-bar progression, and it didn't sound quite so right. So this is something where the only way, there's no real rules about sort of passing notes. This is where it's really important that you just use your ears and your feeling for the music that you're playing to just decide when a note might be appropriate. So that's a pretty popular one, playing that, I don't even know what that is, to be honest with you, but it's essentially, it's always on the G string, and it's kind of, it's the in-between note. In fact, there's a lot of passing notes on the G string. Let's try and let's use almost chromatically here on the G. So that one, that's not part of the pentatonic. See, I just literally nipped that one in. I played this one, and again on its own sounds terrible. I can't even play it. That's how bad it sounds. You wouldn't throw that note in, or you know, your audience would leave if you played that. But if you play it as a passing note, it's kind of got a jazzy kind of feel to it. So you'll notice there we've played every single note from here. That's virtually every note that you could play on that G string, almost chromatically, in some way. So let's have a look at that again. We'll play all three at different points. What I'm not doing is playing them all within the same lick, though. I'm guessing that's going to sound a bit odd. Let's try it. Don't know, you could probably work that in somewhere, but it doesn't sound super smooth. You really want your passing notes to be accents, you know, not like the main part of the lick. Let's find some other strings where they're kind of common. They're common on. Let's move up onto the B string. So So we're throwing this one in, and with a little bend up to the note that would be in the pentatonic scales. So that sounds nice. I use that a lot as well. Maybe we might even add one of the ones back in from the G string again. There's another little one down here on the A. There's similarly, you've got ones on the E string. Didn't play the rest of that lick right, but again, so again, you're saying this should be the pentatonic should just go, you know. But we're throwing in these little you know, passing notes. Somebody out there, some bright sparks out there, who's going to tell me that in fact, as soon as I add some of these notes in, the scale ceases to be a minor pentatonic scale and becomes something else with a name like Lydian or Mixolydian or some other disease that rabbits get and die. But I don't know any of those things, so I like to just think of them as essentially staying within the minor pentatonic and just adding extra notes in. You'll note, again, there's heaps that we could play, so... I'm not sure, is that just the repeat of this one? So you can hear... Definitely giving it a more jazzy kind of feel. But I guess, are there any notes that you can't play? I don't know if it fits. I guess that's the nice thing with really playing the guitar. If the note fits, then play the note, you know. Yeah, difficult one there. If you mix in too many notes that are sort of perhaps from a major scale or from another scale that give the thing a different feel, it's quite hard to sort of jump back in. So that I was kind of thinking that was kind of funky at first, you know, this kind of going from the root note of the pentatonic just down a fret. Don't know, does that work? Not really. That works. Work. You know what I should do? I'm going to just literally just put a little loop down in G, and then I'll put it quietly in the background and we can just noodle over the top of it. So bear with me a second. And let's see what passing notes we can find. think what you've probably seen there is I've ably demonstrated how when passing notes can sound okay, and when they can sound really cool, and also when they can sound complete crap. So, and as I said, there's no real rule. You just got to kind of feel it. Couple of things that I was playing there, little tippy things. There are a couple of passing notes that sound better as sort of like a trill, or I'm not even sure what the correct term is, but there's this one here, this one. You know, so you don't really want to dwell on that note. You can dwell on this one. You can dwell on that for a little longer, but this one doesn't like to be dwelled on, you know. So what you'll hear a lot of guitar players do is they'll throw it in as like a little trill. So some guitar players will literally slide up the string and back down again, but really quickly. So instead of going, so I'm hitting the string once, picking the string once, sliding up there and then back down again, and then pulling off to the first finger. So you can do, oh, he says, no, I can't do it. Here we go. Like that. That takes a bit of practice, I must admit. But it's one of those things that actually the faster you do it, the easier it becomes. So. Or what some people do, and I don't know if this was a Stevie Ray thing or someone, but some people will hammer on with their little finger. So they're starting with the third finger, and then they're hammering on with the little finger, and then they're doing a pull off down to the first finger. And that you can get kind of sounding quite. I prefer the slidey one. Sounds nice up here as well. You'll also notice as well, and I touched upon this in the first video that I did, loads of those little micro bends that I'm doing are essentially throwing in a passing note without me even really knowing. So if I'm playing, bends are great, because bends is the sort of thing that it's, you know, guitar's kind of like one of the only instruments you can really do bends on. And I stole that line from a Guthrie Govan video, but he's completely right in that, you know, if you're playing you know, keyboard type instruments, things, you know, you have a very rigid note structure. You go from one note to the next note, and there's no real in between, unless you've got one of those little synthesizer pitch bend wheel things, but they always sound a bit fake. So, you know, make the most of that as a guitar player. There you are. So there's my little, is it a lesson? I'm not even sure you can class these as lessons. I think they're just as, you know, a ramble. That would be a better word for it. A ramble about passing notes. If you've enjoyed this video, there are a small number of videos on this channel, but please do subscribe anyway. But there's a ton more videos on the Andertons Music channel and the Rob Chappers video, where you can see me and tons of other much better guitar players doing stuff. So that's it, really. I've taken note as well from the first video I did where I used a guitar that didn't have any fret markers on it, and you guys went, oh, it'd be way better if you used a guitar with fret markers. So here they are, and they don't come much bigger than the fret markers on this bad boy. So that's it. I'll put a link, I'll put in the description below what gear I'm using. It's just, you know, some simple pedals and stuff like that. But there we are. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've been the Captain. I'll see you next time.